Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, whatever you happen to be in. We're going to talk regions, because regions are important to know how to use. So let me show you how to use them, or at least how you might use them in certain situations. That is an audio region from a track I made.
17 bars, 1 beat, 53 ticks.
And as you hear voiceover also in the background, this is so that you can hear exactly what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. Don't worry about the speech of the speed of the speech. I will explain everything that I'm going to do. So let me play this again from the top with the metronome active. And by the way, I'm using the ViaLogic key map found in the ViaLogic Dropbox.
3 bars,
so as you see, it doesn't come in initially.
1 bar, 4 beats, 1 tick.
This region starts at 1
bar, 4 beats, 1 tick.
1 bar, 4 beats, 1 tick. It's roughly 120. Well, it's supposed to be 120. Logic seems to think it's 120 point some change, but that's irrelevant. So what if I want to split this region and move it around a bit or do something with it? And maybe first off, what is a region? Well, a region is a selection of MIDI or audio data in Logic. And what's the point of them? Well, you can split your project into different sized chunks or clips or whatever you want to do with it. And there's a lot more that you can do with regions than I'm going to show in this very short informal post. But just to get you started and show you how you might benefit from using a region to do something. So let me see. If I go
bars,
to the end of it.
16 bars, 15 bars, 1 beat, 1 tick.
15 bars.
15 bars.
Okay, that's
14 bars,
a
1
bit
beat, 1
further
tick.
back.
15 bars.
All right, so let me see.
14 bars, 1, 15 bars, 1 beat, 1. 14 bars, 4 beats, 1 tick.
I think I want 14 bars, 4 beats.
15 bars,
No, maybe 14 bars, 3 beats.
14 bars, 4 beats, 14 bars, 3 beats, 14 bars, 3 beats, 1 tick.
I'm going to split this track at this point with the Command T key. And what this will do is make 2 regions, one to the left of my cursor and one to the right of my cursor.
Split region / events at playhead position.
Split region / events at playhead position is what VoiceOver says. If I do shift space now, what will happen is it will play the region on the right side of the cursor.
14 bars, 2 beats, 921 ticks.
Which it has.
MIDI / monitor.
Now,
17 bars, 1 beat, 13 ticks.
what I could actually do with this region, even though it has effects on it already, actually no, what we'll do is we'll slow it down. Just this last region.
14 bars, 2 beats, 9. 15 bars.
So since that region is already selected, I can go into the inspector now and I can show you some of the things that we can do with it. So I will go
Inspector group.
into the inspector.
Read 160 table.
And there are a few tables, as you will probably know by now, and some of them may be hidden. So there are these blank buttons that look like they should say things, and indeed they should, but they don't always. And there's in this first table, there's a lot of options, and one of them is a more button, which is weird because not only do you have tables with buttons outside them, you have tables with things inside them that also need to be expanded. Now, I always keep mine expanded for ease of use. And we're going to go into this first table now, which is where you have loop, mute, and quantize and such, and go down to the very bottom with the voiceover end.
100%. Q strength.
Level 2.
And go up from here.
Q range. Dash. Curve. Type.
Right, so now we have reached the type and curves. So let me show you. I'm going to go up a bit more.
Fade curve. Fade in. Delay.
Right, I'll go from delay, and what I was doing was voiceover up arrow, by the way. And this goes up each column of a table as opposed to across the rows.
Plus 0 ticks. Fade in. 0. Slider.
So I don't want to fade it in.
Curve. 0. Fade out. Pop-up button.
But this pop-up, which
this item has no help tag.
doesn't have a help tag, allows me to do a couple of things.
Menu tick. Fade out.
That's fade out.
Slow down.
Slow down.
Tick. Fade out.
And there are 2 options. Slow down and fade out. So if I slow this down now.
Slow down. Pop-up button.
Now, when I play this, nothing is going to happen. And the reason is because we haven't set how much it should slow down by and how quickly. So I will just do shift space again.
14 bars, 2 beats, 9. 15 bars.
Okay. Noticeably nothing happened.
0. Slow down. 0. Slider.
And there's a slider here. Does it have a help tag?
This item has no help tag.
No.
Slider.
So there's a curve and there's like the speed of it, I think. It's not 100% clear. It's weird.
Slow down. 0.
But let me try adjusting this first slider.
In slider. 10.
And I think it needs to be adjusted a fair bit before we see any kind of result.
20. 50.
Let me try 50.
14 bars, 2 beats, 921. 16
Not
bars,
noticeable
1 beat,
at all.
209.
So let me go.
1049.
What I did then was when I interacted with the slider, initially I used voiceover left and right, but then I had the shift key in, and that goes by huge jumps.
14 bars. 16
And that
bars.
still doesn't seem to have any effect.
2000,
And I'm
3047.
not sure why.
14 bars. 2.
Now it
16
did.
bars.
So that is, I guess, the time it takes for the slowdown to start taking effect. So I'm using voiceover shift to go in huge jumps.
4, 5, 6, 8042.
Let's see whether that has a really big effect.
14 bars.
There we go.
16 bars.
So
3 beats.
if you want it to happen instantly and just at the very, very end of your region, you'd probably have a much shorter fade time than this. And we can try this out on the previous region in just a moment. But if you want it to be basically almost all of your region, then you'd need to make this a lot longer. So let me set this back to 0 if I
42,
can,
32.
which I have.
Out of slider. Slow down.
Okay.
Pop up button.
Now we don't have to worry about that. Let me press the left arrow key now and go to the last region.
14 bars. 3 beats. 1 tick.
And if I go back a bar,
14 bars. 1 beat. 1 tick.
we know that this
14
region
bars. 3 beats. 1 tick.
ends at 14 bars, 3 beats, 1 tick.
13 bars. 14 bars. 1 beat. 1 tick.
So if I just go
14 bars.
now, what I can do actually is let me go back to the other region. This
3 beats.
region.
500. 14 bars. 2 beats. 915. Mixer. Group. Tracks.
What I'll do is I will move this region
16 bars. 1 beat. 1 tick.
to
17 bars. 1 beat.
17 bars. And the way I'm going to do this is really simple. Is I'm not even going to do Command X and then paste it with Command V. I'm just going to go, which I've done with the with the comma and full stop keys,
17 bars. 1 beat. 1 tick.
and then press the semicolon key to the left, to the right of the L key, and that drops that region there. So if I go to the end of the last region,
14 bars. 3 beats. 1 tick. 14 bars.
and
1
go
beat. 1 tick.
back
13 bars.
to 13 bars, then we'll have some silence, and then the other region will play like this.
MIDI/monic metronome pick. MIDI/monic
So
metronome
there's
pick. 18 bars. 3.
quite a gap there. Probably too much of one.
1 bar. 4
for
beats.
the
14 bars. 3
demonstration
beats. 1 tick.
purposes. So let me move it to 16 bars, for example. So it's at 17,
17 bars. 1 beat. 1 tick.
as we know.
16 bars. 1 beat. 15 bars. 1 beat. 1 tick.
Actually, 15 might well do. Let's just try 15.
14 bars. 3 beats. 1 tick. 14 bars. 1. 13 bars. 1 beat. 1 tick.
There we go. That just shows that there was
16 bar.
and has actually been a region there. Now,
1 bar. 4 beats. 14 bars. 3 beats. 1 tick.
I'm at the end of the first region, which you can get to by left and right. And if you're unsure what region you're on, always you can find out with doing shift and space. So if I do shift space here,
1 bar. 3 beats. 921 tick.
that's the first region. Next region with the right arrow,
14 bars. 4 beats.
that's the second region.
16.
And you can have as many regions on the track, I
Bars, 1
think,
beat, 13
as it lets you do. I don't know if there's a finite number. There probably is somewhere. But you probably won't hit it. So, yeah, regions are very useful things. I'm going to get back into the inspector now. And I want to do a slow down on the end. Actually, we'll do a fade out because that region cuts quite abruptly now because, of course, it ended in a funny place. If I fade out the end of the last region, and we'll try the same kind of tricks we did a moment ago, we should see how quickly it fades out.
And inspect region button.
Right.
Button. Read 100 table. Rotate into type. Fade out. Pop up button.
Fade out. It's already set to fade out
0.
incidentally
Slider.
because that's the first option.
Type. Out. Type 0.
So
Slider.
let's try
Slider.
adjusting this with small jumps initially. We'll go 3 times to the right with voiceover arrow keys. 1, 2,
20, 30.
Did I say 3 times? I hope I did.
14 bars. 3 beats. 1 tick. 1 bar. 14 bars.
And let me go back to
13 bars.
13 bars.
14 bars.
You'd hardly notice that fade out at all. So let's try another 5 times.
4, 5, 6, 80.
80.
14
I'm
bars.
not really sure what these are. I don't know if it's not telling me what the values are, just the values, you know? So
13 bars.
I don't know what 80 actually means.
14 bars.
That was a very quick fade out, and I could definitely notice a difference. Could you notice a difference
14
that
bars.
time?
1 beat. 1 tick. 14 bars.
If I drop it back to 0,
20, 10. 14 bars.
it's a cut.
10.
Definitely
0.
a cut. So this time I'm going to do voiceover shift right arrow a few times
1998. 2997. 14 bars. 13 bars.
and go back to 13. Now, we should notice quite a difference with the fade out, I hope. Yes. So that is how that works. And if we didn't region it, it'd be very hard to fade out. You would have to region it if you wanted it to do that, because these things act on the beginning and end of regions. So that is that. Now, because a region is basically like in a word processor, a block of text, you can do all kinds of other things to it. I mean, we've done the most basic things with a region that we could possibly do here. But if you wanted to, you could, of course, move that region to another track and add, effects onto it, or different things, or manipulate it, or copy and paste it. So the best thing to do really is to sort of trial and error what you want to do with the region and mess around with it and see what you can achieve. Because anything you can think about, you can probably do. You just need to make sure that your audio or MIDI is regioned in a proper manner. And once you've got the hang of it and understand that Command T is your best friend, really, you can just keep going. Now, one thing I didn't clarify, and I'm sorry, I'm so used to just doing this via muscle memory and not explaining myself, is that to go to small increments of bars, I was using option and comma period instead of just normal comma period. Shift and comma period goes by 10 bars.
6 bars, 14 bars, 1, 19 bars, 2 beats, 1 tick. 1 bar, 9 bars, 1 beat, 1 tick.
Sorry, not 10 bars. It goes by 8 bars, which is standard measure, really. So 1, 9, and so on.
17 bars, 1 beat, 1.
And that makes sense. But then if you do option and comma, for example, where are we? We'll go to 1 bar. If I do option and full stop.
1 bar, 1 beat, 241 ticks.
It's going in.
1 bar, 1 beat, 481 ticks. 1 bar, 1 beat, 721 ticks. 1 bar, 2 beats, 1 tick.
It's four option, comma, or periods for each beat, if you will. So that's dividing the thing into 16, I guess. I think that's right. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I'm thinking about it as I'm doing it. So this allows you to do very fine edits, and that's kind of convenient, of course. So yeah, that's a little bit about regions. I hope that you find that useful, and if you want me to cover anything else in it, I will. But once you realize just how useful the thing is and how easy it is to do anything you want to do with it, it should make a lot more sense. So that's it, really. Questions to onj.louis@gmail.com if you have any, or the WhatsApp group, or the email list, of which there are lots of people there that can help you further. But this quick demo was just meant to be exactly that, just to get you on the road to understanding how a region might be used. So thank you for listening, and I hope that you benefited from this. Take care.